Hello, welcome back. Pastelon, or like some people call it, Puerto Rican lasagna. And this lasagna, like we call in Puerto Rico, pastelón, is prepared with sweet plantains and a picadillo meat of ground beef. Picadillo, whatever you want to call it. And in this video, I'm going to show you how to prepare this delicious meal. We love it in the island, we love it in New York, we love it in Florida, and we love it everywhere we go. And in addition to that, I'm going to show you how I prepare my picadillo or picadillo. So you're going to have two for one view. So go nowhere. Let's have some fun. Subscribe. Let's create. So let me show you some of the sweet plantains I have. I actually have 6 of different stages of ripeness. And this one is very ripe. And sometimes people, especially in America, see something like this and might throw it away. Don't. This means it's super sweet. This one is ripe too, but not as ripe as this one. So the key here is that you're going to cut them in layers, like planks. You have to make sure that when you cut this one in those layers, they are thin, very thin. Well, this one, because it's so sweet and soft, when you cooking it, it's going to kind of break down when you start moving it. So this one, it has to be a little bit thicker. This one is going to be sweeter than this one. I'm going to use both. So you start, cut the edge, peel, so you peel it, and then you start cutting in layers. Carefully, because these knives are sharp. You have to be focused, if you know what I mean. So I put my finger on the top and then take it out. See? And you do the same, and you can get about 3 or 4 from this one, by the way. See how ripe is this one? Soft and ripe. Another thing you can do, you can cut it in half to make it easier, because you're going to stitch everything together. For lack of better terms, you're going to put one beside the other when you're cooking it. So if you want to simplify things, you can cut some in half if they're long. And that way it's easier to cut. You have to be very careful. Turning into an angle so I don't cut myself. Do it again. It is. Turn it around. Because it can be slippery. And this one is very soft. So I want to make it a little bit thicker. See the different ways of cutting it. You can put it this way too. See, just different ways. So now it's time to start frying these plantains. It's not going to take long to fry. Just put them there. You don't want them burned. Okay, now that we did all that with the plantain, it's time to start preparing the picadillo. So here I have my ground meat. What I'm going to use, I'm going to transfer that meat to a container. I had to cook extra because you never know. I've been short-handed. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to put ground black pepper, turmeric. In essence, you're creating your own adobo. Salt. Some olive. It's optional, but I like them, and I like them cut in pieces. I'm going to mince some garlic. And you add as much as you want. I have about 8 teeth, small ones. And this is truly very optional. You really don't have to add raisins, but I'm going to add some to mine, a little box. And once you do that, you're going to mix everything well together. Add a little bit of extra virgin olive oil, which is my preference. Not a lot, just a little bit. And in my case, I'm going to have a little bit of sofrito. Now, I do have a description. In my description, I have my recipe, how to do the perfect sofrito. This one I have for about 15 months now. See how beautiful, how nice. But if you don't have sofrito, all you do is get a little bit of, tiny bit of onions, cut it in tiny pieces, maybe 2/4 garlic, a little piece of, tiny piece of green and red bell pepper, and some cilantro, and if you have culantro. I make it like this much. You know, when you cut it together and put it into pieces, no more than 2 teaspoons of the thing. This is maybe 3 teaspoons, and then you cook it. But this is optional. You don't need this. Move it around for like 30 seconds, if that. And you start, turn the heat to medium for now, because this is kind of splashing all over. And you start adding your ground meat. And you cook it like when you cook it. you know, break it down. Break it down. Let me add a little bit more here. Just break it down. Medium high. And although I already add salt, I can tell I need a little bit more because of the amount. I'm going to add a little bit more. Not a lot, just a little bit. You do your magic. After a minute or so of getting some of the shape and, you know, after cooking it for a minute or two, what you want to do, you grab some tomato sauce. And some people use canned tomato sauce. I haven't used a canned tomato sauce in a very long time. So what I do is I grab a fresh tomato and I grate it. And what you do, you put some in the middle. Not a lot, just, you know, because you don't want the food, this meat to be too dry. And you have to give it that tomato the flavor too. And let it cook. Been about 3 or 4 minutes, it's still cooking. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to add some smoked parpika. It's about a teaspoon. Give it a smoky flavor, the nice color. Mix things together again. Look at how beautiful it looks. Nice color. This stuff is ready. Took me about maybe 5-7 minutes. Going to turn the heat off, put it aside. And I'm going to let it cool, rest and cool so the heat distributes. I'm draining a little bit of the grease out of the meat. So I'm going to use a small container, aluminum, for the oven. Nothing fancy, see my hand, if it's there. I'm going to start putting things together. But one thing you have to have ready and handy is a couple eggs. You have to, you know, and some grated mozzarella cheese. You have some. So I have camera in one hand. So I'm going to be working with the other. To start creating the base. Once again, I didn't cut this perfectly. So what I'm doing is I will fill out that with little pieces as I go. So you create the base. Nothing doesn't have to be perfect. Just create the base. You might have some little holes, who cares? Then you grab the eggs. Put some there. That becoming like the mortar when you're building a fence. The concrete mortar. Now what you do is add your meat. You create and you layer like lasagna. But this is Puerto Rican lasagna or pastelón. So create a layer, squashing it just a little bit, pushing it, you know. Now what I'm going to do, optionally, this is optional, some mozzarella cheese. Now comes the second layer, or perhaps the last one. And you start covering. I'm going to use some of the very sweet ones now. Why not? See how sweet and beautiful? So simple, right? Yeah, some of the very sweet ones. Can cover this whole here. So just creating my top layer. More egg. Yep, creating that nice looking mortar. Kind of gluing it together with the egg. Let me add some more of this mozzarella cheese. Okay. Not this diet bullshit. You get the good stuff. You don't have to go crazy with the cheese, but you want to create a layer that's going to melt and make it look beautiful. So I'm going to go at 325 degrees Fahrenheit. And I have one with cheese and one without it. So two small little pans I'm going to put inside the oven. And I think I'm going to let it cook for about 30 minutes. It has been 30 minutes. Time to get it out. Here we have it. Baby's hot. Look at the tiny piece. Actually, a not so tiny piece.